Hi guys, it's Les here over at the Rock Room. It's our weekly update on the mixed batch of rocks that we've had on. We've had it on now for 5 weeks, and it's been on 5 weeks at 80 grit. So I'm expecting some of these to be ready at least. It's taking, quite a while, but it's a patient thing. You've got to be very patient to do this. So we're on to 5 weeks now with that. Now I'm expecting some of these to be ready, at least some of them. Which I will fish out, but we'll have a quick look at them now because this is really all you're wanting to do. We'll have a quick look at them and then we'll see if any of them are ready, basically. So let's nip over here. So I've already turned the machine off so that you can hear me, and I'm just going to get the rocks out of this one and I'm going to tip them into the grid. There we go. Ooh, we've got a nice thick paste coming. Look at that. And that's what we've got, look. Don't look very exciting yet. Let's get some juice on this. Ooh. Like magic. Pick 1 or 2 of these out. You'll have seen 1 or 2 of these before. That one you might have seen before. Looking around that. That looks ready for the next stage. That one's not. A little bit of rough on that side still. Another one of them, look. Not lovely. Insides of that. Unbelievable. There's another one with a quartz inside. A bit like a Cadbury's cream egg. But it's quartz instead of cream. Because as soon as these go dry, they'll go matte again. That's a piece. Do you remember last week I sliced some rocks on that rock saw? That's a piece that I sliced off the end of a pebble. In fact, that's the pebble. That's the other half of it. So that's untumbled. And that's tumbled for just a week. And that is actually pretty smooth all over. But it's got a lovely pattern in it. There's a little shard of the blue lace agate that I had. Just a little shard of it. Amethysts. There are quite a few of these that are ready now to move on to the next stage, and I'll put them onto 220 grit. That's that one with that lovely little pattern in it, look, you see here. Here. Tiny little swirls, I don't think it'll focus up there. Tiny little swirls. That's the fossilised little snail shells. Which don't really, this taratella or whatever it's called, it doesn't really do very much for me, that. Because it's full of this gnarly bit. The more you chew at it, the gnarlier it gets. We got these nice sort of semi-transparent slithers in that. Piece of delicious tiger's eye. Just look at that. That's unbelievable, isn't it? I've got a full tumbler of this on. In the big tumbler I got last week. So that'll be interesting because that's quite soft. I mean, that's not been in the full 5 weeks, that. It's already lovely and smooth. So that's the difference between hard rocks and soft rocks. I know it sounds silly, but some are harder than others. Lots of this white quartz material. It's orange. wonder if it's carnelian, that. Yeah, so I'll give it a good. That's a nice cut, nice material. I've got a full bag of this. Oh, lovely stripes in that. I've got a full bag of that, so I'll have to chuck that on. Yeah, so a lot of these are ready to move on to the next stage, and I'll pick them out when I finish doing this, recording this bit, and they will then go into 220 grit. But in actual fact, what I'll do is I'll put them in a glass of water, because I won't have enough to get a tumbler going just for that, so I'll have to wait till I've got a tumbler's full. That's one with a little pebble which had a little dent in it there, look, you see. Interesting. Anyway, that's it. That's your little slither. I shall drop this video into the lunchtime slot. And for those of you who want to watch the rest of it, because we've got quite a few other things to do here, that'll be another video that I'll upload later today, which will basically continue on from here. So that's it. Easy peasy. They're definitely coming on. There's quite a few of them that's going to be ready for the next stage. But more importantly and interestingly, nuts and bolts. I've got nuts, bolts, bits of wood, various pulleys and stuff down here. Look, this is if you can see down there. There's I've got the engine. I'm waiting for the small pulley coming, which has been, I've had to have it made special. It's an 11mm diameter shaft with a key, so I've had to have an 11mm pulley made shaft with a key, and it's 40mm on outside. That's the smallest I can make it really. And then we've got the big wheels and stuff. So I've got all of the components now to start making this tumbler. So I'll make that a little series on its own within the rock tumbling area or website somehow. Because it's going to be something that I think a lot of people are going to want to do. So if I keep a record of what things I'm using, how much to wear, where I got it from, etc, etc, and put all that at the end, so if anybody wants to have a crack at it, you can. But the first video on that will have to be building the carcass, because we're going to house it inside one of these kitchen unit carcasses, aren't we? And we're going to plonk it on top there. So that's a video in itself. So I'll record that video of how to actually build these flat packs up, because a lot of people won't know. I mean, I was daunted to death. I thought there ain't no way on earth I'm going to be able to put a flat pack up, because I'm Mr. DIY, destroy it yourself. But I did it. So I think it might be a nice video for people like me who've got no confidence to do it, to realise just how easy it is. And it is easy. So I'll show you that. That will be the first video. And then the next one will be actually building the structure that goes inside the cabinet out of that wood that we got last week. And then we're going to have to start measuring for the pulleys and that, and measuring belts and all this. So it's a long process, but we'll get there in the end. Yeah, anyway, for now, I'm going to go slurping my coffee and then we'll get back to the main video. Right, so it's now time to have a look at those other two barrels that we've got on. Now, one of the barrels is on, I think it's on 400, it's on 400 grit. And I think it's been running on there for a week, and that's the first batch of rocks that we put on that we've just done that process for, that you've just seen, where we've taken them out, kept it to one side. In fact, here's the glass, look. These are the ones that I've removed, that I've deemed to be ready for moving on to the next stage. So I've had to put a few more rocks back into the barrel, you know, to bring that level back up to 2/3. Because when you take rocks out that are ready to move on, you've got to replace them with something else to keep that barrel 2/3 full. Because it don't really work, the process, unless it's 2/3 full. So the smaller barrel is the stones that I had a glass full like that have been on this now for a week. I think it's a week. It might actually be 2, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to keep it running on that because I bypassed the 400 at the 220 stage because I didn't have any grit. So I'm going to run it for another week on this same grit, but I'm going to replace the grit to make it fresh. Now, once you start getting up into the finer grades, like 600 and beyond, and you come to this checking stage, on the finer grits, you don't replace the grit. Do you know what I mean? You mustn't empty it out and put fresh grit in, because at that stage, what happens is that the particles of grit get smaller and smaller and smaller as the grinding process is going on, and so it becomes finer and finer and finer, and so your finish on the pebble becomes finer and finer and finer. So if you start introducing fresh 600 grit, you're going to make it rough again. Do you know what I mean? It's not so much a problem at the lower end of the scale on the first few sections, but on the latter stages you don't want to be replacing your grits. But on this one, we're on 400. I've got another one after that I'm going to use, which is 600. So on this one I am going to change the grit, but I'm also going to do it just so that we can have a look what's actually going on in this tub. So let's have a look at that. Let's have a close up and view of the clean pebbles. There we go. Ooh, this is nice and thick. Look at that. Don't even want to pour out, look. And that will be the result of the grit and the borax, you know, making it sticky, like I said. So let's just rinse this out. You mustn't put this down your sink. This is the slurry, because it'll set. Just do it that way then. Now of course I've run out of water. That's the majority of that off. Let me just go and give it a quick rinse. There we go. That's better. You see them now. Oh, look at these. You know, beautiful. Yeah. It's not unakite. Green, red, mossy. And these now are feel really, really smooth. But they're still matte. Can you see how when they're drying, they're still matte? That's because they've not been polished yet. At this stage we're still actually shaping it, really. Sanding it down, sanding it down. So these need at least another week or so. Probably going to give these 2 weeks on the finer grit, and that will get rid of any smaller or deep scratches and stuff. Blue stuff again. That's the one with the fibres in it. You see that? That's a weird rock. Yeah, coming on nicely. So I'll pack them up and we'll have a look at the next batch. Right, so this is the this is the final tub that I'm going to be showing you today, and this is very difficult to get off as well. Now then, this is a tray of stuff that I cut up again last week. Remember I cut them rocks up with the rock saw. We've already seen one that were in the pebble batch. Well, this is some Pickin Jasper and Larkivite that I had that I was chopping up. How beautiful that is. Just look at the intricacy of that. This is that slab of Pickin Jasper that I had, and I cut it into sort of generally diamond shaped things. Might drill these and make them into key fobs. Look at that. And these are as smooth as silk. Little shard with an eye on it. And these are bits of blue laced agate that I chopped up. Remember I chopped it up into little cubes? like sugar cubes, but they're long. This is a piece of lava kite. My God, this is glittery. Oh, it's a shame I don't think it's picking it up. You see that in there, look. This is another one that I chopped. Slices through a pebble. Absolutely full of little facets is this. I don't know if the camera's picking any of that up. It's got like what looks like fish scales in it. This is a little pebble that Grant brought me. That's nice, isn't it? But I've left it as it is because it's kind of heart shaped, isn't it? That would make another nice little key fob. Look. Lovely. Anyway, that's the all of those 3 barrels shown. So you've seen them 3 barrels now, the ones that we've had, that we've been monitoring them over the last few weeks, haven't we? This big one here at the side of me, this has got tiger's eye in it. That's only tiger's eye in that, and it's been running just well, probably about 5 days or so, hasn't it? Since I uploaded the video anyway. So I'm going to leave that probably about 10 days. I mean, it's fairly soft, the rock. As you've seen with them little shards, it wears down pretty quick. But there is some ironstone or hematite or something in there, so if you get that exposed, it's kind of metallic looking. It's a little bit strange. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But I'll undo this one in a video next week. But these ones, I'll get them all straight back on and get them running, and we'll see what they're like next week. That's it for this video. It's been a quickie. Just basically a little update. We will get more structure in these videos as time goes on. Because like I say, I've got that many different things on go at the minute. It's difficult to keep a track. But yeah, it's coming on. It's coming on nice. I'm enjoying what I'm doing anyway. That's the main thing. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about bringing some frigging joy to your life, because it's sad enough as it is already, isn't it? Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Catch you later in the next one. And the next one, I think, well, it depends if that CR2 comes or not. If that comes, I can show you that. Otherwise, I'll start doing the video on the DIY one, you know, where I'm building it in the kitchen unit and that. Keep your eye out for that. It's going to be good fun. It's going to be stressful for me, but it's going to be good fun. See you later.